Former champion Frankie Edgar takes on Chad Mendes. And Saturday, UFC legend Uriah Faber takes one more shot at a title run. A weekend of huge UFC action starts Friday at 8 on FS1.
What's up? Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming out today. We appreciate it. A very, very big weekend here in Las Vegas. Something we've never done before. 3 fights in 3 nights. Over 30 fights total. And these cards are stacked with unbelievable talent. We are finally here. Everybody's been waiting for this fight. Who has the first question? Raise your hand. They will bring you a mic.
Can we start with Conor, please? Conor, can you talk about your mindset, in seeing you the last couple days, the last couple weeks? You seem a lot more relaxed than maybe you did over the summer. Maybe it's because of the injury, I don't know. But can you compare your mindset this week to fight week over the summer and point to maybe what the difference is?
I am in a state of zen right now. My mind is calm, composed. I am prepared, and I am happy. I am happy we are here. This must be close to 15 press conferences I've done without getting to fight this man. So I am happy that we are here now. My preparation has been perfect. Training at home does something for me. Preparing in my homeland does something for me. And now I'm here and I'm fully ready. And that's it. I'm in a state of zen, ready to put on the performance of my life.
Thank you, Conor. Quickly for Jose, I just want to ask a question about his decision to come in on Tuesday. A lot of people were wondering why maybe he didn't come in a couple days early on a big fight like this, get adjusted to the time, get settled in. Can you just talk about the decision of why he waited until Tuesday to come in?
A gente acerta o fuso no Brasil mesmo, não tem problema nenhum. O clima é frio, então geralmente a gente luta numa arena climatizada, então para mim pouco me importa se eu estou aqui ou não. A gente pode fazer o fuso em qualquer horário. Ou no Brasil, qualquer país, não no Brasil ou aqui. Para mim eu não vejo problema nenhum. Sempre quando eu cheguei para lutar aqui, eu sempre cheguei assim, dessa maneira.
We work the time zone already in camp in Brazil, so it makes no difference what day I get here for the time zone. The arena's climatized, so the weather makes no difference to me. So we always get here on Tuesday when we fight in Vegas, and I had no different this week.
Thank you. And then just quickly, if I could, for Frankie and Chad, I'll ask you the same question. We'll start with Frankie. Obviously, I think the winner of this fight is definitely in line for a title shot. I mean, there are scenarios where there might be a rematch or something, but got to think the winner of you two guys is fighting next. Do either of you have a preference to which man you would face to take the belt away from?
I don't care, man. I just want a shot at that title, bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, I basically just want to fight whoever has the belt at this point, man. That strap is the ultimate goal, and been close a couple times, so I've tasted it, but thank you. Yeah, we've been so close, man, so whoever has the belt.
Hey, question for you, Dana. You've always said that you promote the fights, you put on the fights, and then the fighters decide the fights, and you gave up a long time ago hoping for certain outcomes, but you went on that world tour and you spent a lot of money promoting a fight between Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor. So when you watched that fight at UFC 189, can you kind of just talk about, were your emotions a little different as a promoter watching that and saying, we could see a fight between Aldo and McGregor kind of disappear here if Mendes pulls out a victory?
That's the business we're in. These things can happen, The thing that made me happy the most was that Chad and Conor stepped up and both took that fight. Anytime you step into the octagon, there's risk, and anything can happen. It's been that way for 15 years, and it will always be that way. What I love is when the opportunity is there, and guys take it or girls take it, and like I said, in that case, save the fight.
You know, and sometimes in combat sports, obviously, you lose half of the fight just goes away, and then you reschedule it. Can you talk about what went into the decision? Because he did have a title fight at 189. Was it just Conor's insistence of saying that I want to remain on the card? Is that basically what kept him on UFC 189?
On the last card, Conor? Yeah. I mean, we literally went to Conor's house and talked to him, and he said, you know, so what's the plan? He said, Mendes said he'll take the fight. He said, then we fight Mendes. It literally was that fast, and that was literally the conversation. Then when Joe Duffy pulled out of the fight, didn't pull out, had to, you know, be taken out of that fight, then Connors called and said he wanted that fight. He wanted to fight Poirier again in Ireland, and then he would come and fight Aldo after that. And then that's when I said, you're nuts, and we'll figure out Ireland. Don't worry about Ireland.
And then just one question for Conor. You know, obviously you have become somewhat famous for predicting how your fights are going to end, and I believe you made kind of two different predictions. On the media call, you said that you couldn't see him getting off of his stool after the first round. I think I've also seen maybe a 4-minute knockout. Now you're here the week of the fight. What is your prediction for the fight?
Yeah, I feel within 4 minutes the shots will have landed. It's on him after that. You know, I feel anything after that 4-minute mark of the first round will be a formality. It will be on him where he is mentally, where he is physically, and how much he truly wants this. I see him crumbling towards the end of the first, or not answering the bell for the second. But it will be wrapped up inside one.
Hey guys, Ron Kruk with Inside MMA. Begin with Conor McGregor. Conor, question as you go into this fight, almost a year in the making, do you feel that this is the toughest test of your career?
I feel it's only as tough as you make it. And I have been making them pretty easy for myself, I feel. I feel this one will be a spectacle. This one will be a master class. This one will be the changing of a guard. Me bringing in a new era in fighting, in approach, in everything. I am a man with something to prove. And a man with something to prove is a dangerous individual. But at the same time, I am calm. So I will go in calm, dangerous, and look to show the world the new age.
And a follow-up to Jose Aldo. Jose, there were some rumors that after this fight you may retire. Can you address that? Is there any truth to that?
Não falei nada disso, né? Pessoas não sei por que chegaram a comentar isso e falar sobre isso. Pô, já estou me aposentando, tenho apenas 29 anos ainda, então calma que tem muito mais ainda pela frente.
No, I didn't say any of that. I don't know why people are commenting on that, but I'm still 29. They want to retire me, but I got a lot ahead of me.
Very good. And final
This goes
question.
to show you don't believe any of the bullshit that you guys write out there. It's not true.
Question for the champion, Chris Weidman. Chris, as you go into your fourth title defense, you've accomplished a lot in this sport, but do you feel that you are still going into this fight needing to prove yourself? You know, your last fight, you said, stop doubting me, but do you feel that you still have something to prove?
Yeah, I have something to prove to myself, nobody else. You know, I work hard, and I just want to go out there and show my true potential. Just go out there and show the world how good I am. Show myself how good I am.
Question for Conor McGregor. Conor, you were set as the legit favorite by odds makers coming into this fight. No small feat over Jose Aldo. Odds makers do not operate off of emotion or hype. They're in the business of making money. Do you consider that a particular validation backing up your path?
I certainly feel like the favorite. I carry myself like the favorite. Since I came in here, I carried myself like a world champion because when I came in here, I was a dual weight world champion. So I give that off. I go in and I perform, and the odds match how I feel.
Question for Jose Aldo. Jose, you are a veteran of many 5-round fights. That's something that we haven't had to see Conor McGregor face. Do you feel like if the fight does go deep into the championship rounds, particularly maybe 5 rounds, that's going to give you an advantage as the veteran?
Acho que a vantagem é o treinamento. Estou muito bem treinado, estou preparado para tudo. Se a luta ficar em pé, eu vou acabar. Se a luta for pro chão, eu vou acabar da mesma maneira também. Então, onde a luta cair, sempre vai estar nas minhas mãos.
I think the advantage is really in training. If the fight stays on our feet, I'm going to finish it. If it goes to the ground, I'm going to finish it as well.
Another question for Jose. Jose, some of your more spectacular finishes have, or fights have involved your signature leg kicks. Do you feel like the wide stance that Conor sometimes fights with is going to make him particularly susceptible to your lead leg kick?
Acho que vamos ver, né? Tudo é uma luta. Acho que a gente treinou bastante. Como eu te falei, estou muito bem treinado, não importa o que aconteça na luta. Eu vou chegar lá dentro e vou vencer.
We'll have to see. A fight's a fight, but I'm very well trained, and I'm going to have to go in there, and we'll see what happens.
And lastly, a question for Dana. I want to ask you about the overall new approach to conditioning with the UFC athletes. We know there's an IV ban. We know there's the new center coming for athletes' rehabilitation, physical therapy, that sort of thing. And even in this fight, like Chris Weidman, for example, has talked about coming in lighter, making weight cuts easier. We're hearing it from some of the other guys as well. Give us an assessment of where you think that whole program is at right now, because it does seem like guys are taking all that seriously and really adapting their training camps accordingly.
Yeah, it was necessary to do. You know, we continue to evolve with the sport, and I was actually talking to some guys last night about that. You know, as the sport continues to grow, we continue to evolve, and one of the things is obviously the USADA deal is, you know, the best drug program in all of sports. Number one. Number two, this new facility. For instance, if something happens to Tom Brady, the Patriots don't send him to a doctor and then send him home for 12 months and say, hey, call us when you're better. You know, they're on top of his rehab. They make sure that he has the best physical therapist working on him. And these guys are getting educated on how to train and how to stay healthy. And that's the next step for the athletes that are in the UFC when this center is built.
And finally for you, Dana, in terms of a potential rematch, we saw coming off with Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey, you said something to the effect of you'd have to be crazy not to make that rematch. But in that fight, we had a big underdog defeating an overwhelming favorite. We don't have that in this main event. This is a pretty closely matched main event. I mean, are there many scenarios that you wouldn't see making a rematch regardless of the winner as long as it's a compelling fight?
I mean, you can't even talk about rematches until the fight is over. You know, I don't even know. You got to see how the fight goes, what happened. It depends on the two people in the fight. Ronda Rousey's never lost. She's she's been the only 135-pound champion in the UFC. So it depends on the fight.
Hello. Here?
Yep.
I'm going to ask in Portuguese for Aldo. Aldo, no primeiro semestre você declarou algumas vezes, mostrou insatisfação.
Speak up a little. Speak up and put that thing closer to your mouth. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
No primeiro semestre você demonstrou um pouco o quanto que a turnê mundial te incomodou de viagem, enfim. O fato de não precisar viajar tanto, não precisar fazer todo esse trabalho para essa luta, o quanto isso melhorou no seu treinamento, só focar nos treinos lá no Brasil? E se você chegou a usar aquela camiseta com proteção na costela que o Lorenzo te deu?
The question was, in the first semester, we saw how bothered you were by the world tour and all the traveling and all of that. In this fight, you didn't have to do any of that. How did that affect your training and your overall condition? And did you wear the shirt that Lorenzo gave you to protect your ribs?
Aquilo foi cansativo pelo fato que a gente teve que passar um tempo, né, viajando, passando de cidade em cidade. Então, por esse lado, sim. Mas logo quando acaba, a gente volta para a academia, volta a treinar, fica focado. O que a gente tem que focar aqui é a luta, né? Então, é bem tranquilo, mas só a única coisa que fiquei por isso. Tá viajando todo dia, cada dia é um lugar diferente. E usei sim, né? Acho que foi um presente bom pro Lorenzo me deu aí. Então tá usando, né? Tudo que chega para somar a gente tem que usar sim.
Yeah, the world tour was a bit tiring because we're going from city to city. Each day we're in a different city, so it is tiring, but once you get back in the gym and you retain your focus, you go from there. But and the shirt I've been using was a great gift from Lorenzo.
This is for Conor McGregor. I believe you practice visualization. Can you paint a picture of what it is you see in your mind happening on Saturday night?
I visualize entering the contest unpredictable. I will pressure him. I will evade him. I will strike him with every limb. The knee, the heel, the fist, the elbow. I will be a ghost in there. He will think I'm there, and then I am not there. He will think I am not there, and then I am there. So, I'm going to put on a masterpiece for this fight. This will prove my point, that I am the number one.
And for each fighter, what weaknesses do you see in the other man's fight game as well as mentally?
Acho que o ponto fraco eu não posso falar, né? Que senão eu não vou usar ele.
I can't talk about his weakness, so I'm not going to be able to use it.
I feel Jose, like many individuals in the game, are stuck in a routine, stuck in the same pattern. They enter the same, they exit the same, they hit pads the same, they grapple the same. It's routine and it's repetition. And I truly feel routine and repetition will close off your mind and lock the frame. So I just feel he does the same thing over and over. It is predictable. So that's where I feel his weakness, like many other individuals in the game's weakness lie. They are predictable.
And finally, Chad Mendes, having faced both men, what does each need to do to win, and who do you predict to win?
I mean, honestly, I think both these guys can, have a big, I don't know. I think both guys are going to cause some issues for each other. I mean, Conor has his long reach. He's southpaw. He uses pressure well. Aldo's very explosive, and he's dangerous on the feet everywhere. The one thing that I see Aldo having over Conor is the ground game. We'll see what happens mentally when both guys get in there. This is a fight I'm really excited for. Getting in there and fighting against both of these guys. I've felt their mental and their physical, and it's going to be an exciting fight.
Question for Chris. Chris, talk a little bit about the middleweight division. To win and retain your title, you've been in the cage with like a who's who in the sport. Talk about how there's like no nights off whatsoever in your division.
I didn't hear the end of that. What was that?
I said to win and retain your title, you've been in the cage with like a who's who in the sport. Talk about how, it's no different Saturday night. Talk about how there's no nights off in the middleweight division.
Yeah, no, I think this is the toughest division in the UFC. And I'm lucky enough, to be in it and to be able to prove, where I'm at against the best guys in the world. And it really doesn't matter who I'm going against. From Mendes to Silva to Leo Machida, Vitor, now Luke. It's always a battle against myself and beating myself in there. So just working hard every day and staying focused. If I take control of that, there's no one beating me.
Conor, you've worked so hard to try to penetrate his psyche. How do you know that you've been successful at doing so?
I haven't worked hard to try and penetrate his psyche. I have simply carried myself, and I have been true to myself at different stages of the process. I reacted the way I naturally reacted in that given time. I feel you cannot let an outside influence get into your head. That's on you. So he has allowed that to happen, but I did not set out to do that. That is simply what he has allowed happen.
And Jose, have you allowed Conor's words to bother you, or is it something that you've just brushed off?
Não, para mim isso faz parte, isso é um show. Estou preparado para lutar, então eu chego lá dentro e luto, nada do que acontece fora eu deixo entrar na minha cabeça, eu fico pensando que isso é aquilo. Não, confio nos meus treinadores, confio em mim e sei no meu potencial.
No, I really don't dwell on what he said. I'm here to fight, and that's what I'm going to do. Whatever he says, it doesn't get to me. I have faith in my trainers and my coaches to go in there and finish the job.
A couple questions for Conor, please. Conor, we've heard you say a lot of times that you feel like Jose's stuck, he hasn't progressed. But I'm wondering, was there ever a time, maybe before you got in the UFC or whenever, when you were impressed by what he's done?
Many people have done many great things in the sport. This sport has become my life. This promotion has become my life. I've been a fan of the game for so long. But there was never a time when even when I first laid eyes on the UFC, when I first saw it, the one thing I thought there and then when I was maybe 15, 16 years of age was, I can beat these people. So, although I respect everything that everyone has done in this game, I always thought I was better.
Jose, I mean, he's pretty unanimously, if not the top pound-for-pound fighter, people would say he's in the top 2 or 3. What do you think when you hear that? Is it ever, maybe I'm discounting this guy, or do you just think that's wrong?
No, I am happy to hear that. He is currently the pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the roster. So I've been telling people that I am the current pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the planet. So the pound-for-pound #1 spot is up for grabs here. This is a contest for that #1 spot. So, like I said, I am a man with a point to prove, and I will go out and I will prove it.
And lastly, I think against Chad, a lot of people were taken back where you kind of taunted him a little, you had your hands down, you talked to him throughout. Is that something we might see in this fight again?
Yeah, certainly I will enter and be free and allow the situation to unfold and allow myself to act naturally. That's what this is. I enter and it's a freedom of expression. Like I said before, when I make that walk, I'm unshackling chains off of me. And when my feet touch that canvas, it's true freedom. There is no one that can tell me what to do, how to do it. I simply do it as I feel. So I will enter and be free.
Question for Conor. Conor, I don't know if it's true, but I saw this morning a report saying that you had spies on Aldo's camp. Can you comment on that? Is that true?
Yes.
Same question for Aldo. Aldo, ele disse, eu vi uma reportagem hoje de manhã com ele dizendo que tinha espiões no seu camp. Você pode comentar sobre isso?
Logo mesmo? Vai traduzir? Tá. Por mim não vejo problema não, então os espiões dele já falou que eu vou chegar lá dentro e vou vencer a luta. Então, enquanto eu estou bem tranquilo.
No, that's not a problem. His spies must be saying that I'm going to go in there and win the fight, so I'm very easy about that.
Aldo, você completou nas últimas semanas 10 anos invicto, mas você está vindo como azarão para essa luta. Se você tivesse um dinheiro, você apostaria em você? E qual é a dica para os apostadores? Apostar em que round e como?
You're 10 years undefeated this past week, but you're still not the favorite in this fight. If you had the money, who would you bet on?
Eu não ligo muito para isso, né? Para mim isso aí fica fora, as opiniões, isso aí não sei nem quem que coloca ou não, é lógico. Se quiser ganhar um dinheiro fácil, você vai colocar no Aldo que sabe que vai vir a vitória. Então, para mim, pouco significa se eu sou favorito ou não. Nunca liguei para isso. Nem penso nisso, né? Lógico, pode colocar um dinheiro em mim que vai ser dinheiro fácil.
I don't really care about that. I don't really even know who's making those odds. But if you want to win some easy money, you bet on Jose Aldo and you're going to win it. I really don't look at the odds at all. I've never cared if I'm the favorite or not.
No Brasil, essa luta está com uma expectativa muito grande. Certamente você ouviu durante todo esse tempo muita gente falando para você ir lá, para você matar o Conor, que é realmente o tom que essa luta está tendo no Brasil. Como é que você faz para isso não te alterar até mesmo no momento que você entrar no octógono?
This fight has a great repercussion in Brazil. A lot of people are telling you to go out there and kill Conor. How do you keep that from affecting you inside the cage?
Não só no Brasil, né, em todo lugar que eu passei. Sempre ouvi isso. Mas isso aí para mim fica o pessoal fora, né? Eu não deixo nada disso entrar na minha cabeça. Acho que eu tenho que estar focado no meu treinamento, nos meus treinadores, tudo aquilo que significa luta para mim. Então, lógico, a gente até brinca na hora, mas sabe que quando chega na semana, quando chega dentro do cage, eu tenho que estar focado, visualizando tudo aquilo que eu treinei para chegar lá dentro e vencer as lutas.
Not only in Brazil, but I've been hearing that everywhere I go, and I try to keep that out of my mind. I have faith in my coaches and my trainers and what we're doing, and I know I got to go in there and fight, and that's what I'm going to do.
And Conor, today you seem more relaxed and more calm than usually that we saw you in the media events. Is there any special reason for that?
Like I said, I am in a state of zen. The closer the fight comes, every time, I say it over and over, the face becomes blank. There is no face. It's just blank and a fresh body type. Back in the World Tours, a different time. Like I said, I acted true to myself in that moment. Now it is a new time. Now war is upon us. So I am calm, cold, ruthless, and ready to take out the body that's in front of me.
A question for Conor over here to your left. I'll stand up. Good to see you. A couple questions for you. First off, I feel like I've asked you this question, many people have in the past. Do you have something to prove? Do you have something to prove? You've always said, I don't have anything to prove to anyone. But today, twice you said, I will prove my point on Saturday. Why has that changed?
You know, I enjoy listening to the reasons why I'm here, the excuses of previous. There are many times they look to discredit me, what I've achieved in my career, in this company. So, right now I feel I have the right opponent, the pound for pound number one. Undefeated 10 years, the only featherweight champion. What can they say now? What can they say after Jose falls? So I look forward to proving my point and what I've been saying over these years.
A couple days ago, the new boxing heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, said that you have copied him every step of the way. What's your response to this?
There are many times in the game you get compared to other fighters. I've been compared to everybody. I've been compared to Chael. I've been compared to Anderson. I've been compared to Diaz. I've been compared to Muhammad Ali. Now you're trying to compare me to Tyson Fury. But I'll continue to say I am my own man. I am on my own journey. Tyson is an amusing character. But that's it. I am me. I am nobody else but me.
And I know you said you're in a state of zen and you're relaxed, but I must say this is probably the most casually dressed press conference that I've never seen you wearing a shirt like this. Usually it's the three-piece, all that. Is that part of the zen? Because even for 189, you were wearing the black suit, the slick back hair and everything. It's a little jarring, I must admit.
I still feel looking around the table that I am the best dressed.
Okay. Fair enough. And a question for Luke. We've been here for around 30 minutes. This is your first question. And I see you kind of stewing there, going back and forth. And I felt in the embedded, there seemed to be a good relationship between you and Chris, but it's gone to another level, and you're swearing a little more. You just seem a little agitated. Is this kind of feeding to that right now? That you're being a little bit overlooked?
I don't feel agitated whatsoever. I feel ready. I feel this is my time. I feel I've separated myself technically, mentally, physically, and these guys have a lot of catch-up work to do. I don't know. I'm ready to fight. I feel I'm the better man.
The usual Ariel Helwani, hard-hitting, insightful, powerful questions. Thank you, Ariel Helwani. Who has the next question?
Jim Edwards here for The Mirror. First question for Frankie Edgar. Frankie, you've obviously been in the game a long time now. How do you continue to keep yourself motivated, and what do you believe is left for you to ultimately achieve in the game?
I keep myself motivated just because I want to be the best. I got into this sport to be number one. I didn't want to be a guy that was just average. I held the title at lightweight. I've been knocking on that door here at 45 for the 45-pound title for a while now, and I feel I'm one fight away from that. I got to make sure I take care of business on Friday and get that done.
Frankie over here. I'm sure you're completely focused at the task at hand on Friday night, but in the back of your mind, are you also now Jose Aldo's biggest fan in hoping that if he wins, that will be the best route for you to get a title shot next year?
Honestly, I'm taking myself out of that. I'm worrying about Chad, and that's it. Friday's got to come first before Saturday does. And once Saturday's here and I did my job, then I'll worry about Saturday night.
And a question for Chris and for Luke. Obviously, Jose and Conor have been they've been the promotional head of this monster card. Have you been comfortable with that, letting them take the brunt of the promotional activity in promoting this event? And are you happy to just be able to focus on the training aspect and just preparing for this fight?
Go ahead, Luke. Ladies first.
It's been a pleasure.
Got him.
I'm not going to copy McGregor on that one, like Chris. But I got to thank the man. He promoted the card. Takes a lot of work off my back. I get to focus on training and being as technical and as focused as possible. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to go take this belt.
I wasn't there for that press conference. He just told me that. Yeah, I didn't know Conor said that. My bad. But no, yeah, I'm definitely comfortable with where everything's been. Conor and Jose. This card has been a card that people have been looking forward to for, I guess, almost a year now. There's so much hype behind it, and I'm completely comfortable just worrying about retaining my belt.
We've just seen another little bit of what we call friendly banter in the UK between Chris and Luke. Is that all this is? Is there a lot of mutual respect, or have there been anything said between the two of you that has maybe gone a little below the belt, so to speak?
There's always been mutual respect between me and Chris, but this is the world title. This is about taking another man's food off his plate. He's got kids to feed, and I got a statement to make. This is everything we work for our whole lives. Obviously, you're in the gym torturing yourself day to day. You have to pick yourself up, and there's another man trying to take this from you, trying to take what you earned, what you worked for your whole life. Obviously, tensions build as your focus gets closer. We realize what's on the line. We're the best two middleweights in the world, and you guys are in for a show.
We'll take one more question.
Question for Luke. Luke, you, as a former Strikeforce champion, you come over with that group that, some had doubted, hey, can they succeed in the UFC? Of course, you and your teammate Daniel Cormier have proven everyone wrong. Can you just talk about that journey coming from Strikeforce and into the UFC, and now that you're on the cusp of a title fight?
It feels good to be credited for your work and what you do, what you pride yourself on, of course. So for your accomplishments to be beaten down and make less of what they really were, yeah, of course I came in with a point to prove when I came here, and I'm here, and I'm here to make another point. People still look at my biggest win as my last win as a Lyoto Machida. They don't realize my fights with Tim Kennedy and Jacare. Those guys were much tougher for me than anything I faced thus far. I got nothing for that. So, one more point to prove, one more statement to make. It's going to come Saturday night. I'm the better middleweight. Fighting is about relaxation. It's about adjustments. Who has the focus? Who can face adversity and work with it and flow with it? I feel I'm the man to do that. I know how to deal with adversity. We will hit adversity. We both will hit adversity in this fight. And I know how to flow with it. I know how to work with it. Chris is a control freak. When he doesn't have control, he tenses up and it forces him into a different fight. I'm going to stay composed. I'm going to stay relaxed. I'm going to make the adjustments, and I'm going to make him pay. And I'm going to take the belt home.
Let's give the champ, you want to respond to that?
I'm not a control freak. My wife's a control freak. I'm very laid back. And basically, on Saturday night, I'm going to give this guy a reality check. I think if you ask me what his biggest weakness, I don't think is, something physical. I think it's in his head. I think it's his ego. And that's what I'm coming for. I'm just going to give him some reality. I'm going to throw him around the ring. It's going to be a fun night.
And final question, Dana, just can you talk about this unprecedented week, back-to-back-to-back events? Has it been a little bit challenging to promote all these fights that deserve so much attention?
Surprisingly, it hasn't. This thing has really come together perfectly, and yeah, it's been a much easier week than I would have anticipated so far, and all good. We'll see you guys Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thanks for coming out.